To say that I need a bounce back week this week is an understatement. I went 8-8 last week, which put me at 26-21 and 1 on the year so far, which is just over 54%, which would be good, maybe even pretty good if you were picking against the spread, but when you're picking just outright winners, it's not as good. And every year I strive to at least get to 65% to 70% accurate on these picks. And I know I'm much better than this. But week 3, that's always been a bad week for me. I don't know why. It just has. But it is a brand new week. I could easily have 3 good weeks in a row, just like I've had 3 bad weeks in a row. So without further ado, let's get to the week 4 predictions. Starting off with Thursday night football, the Dolphins and the Bengals. Now, I usually am not a fan of Thursday night football, but I think we have the potential for a very good matchup here. I think this could potentially be a shootout. With the way the Dolphins defense has been this season, they have a really strong shot to win this game. And the Bengals, I believe they're a 3.5-point favorite right now, maybe 3 points. And the Dolphins, they are one of only 2 remaining undefeated teams in the NFL. When you got 2 receivers in Tyreek Hill and Jamar Chase in this matchup that have the ability to create separation on almost any corner, this has the potential of a shootout. And I think we're going to get that. But I am going to go with the Dolphins in this game because I think they are the better defense in this matchup. And they held the Bills just a few days ago. Probably the most explosive offense in the league to just 17 points. And you got to give them credit for that. Next up, we have the Vikings and the Saints Sunday morning in London. And why do I have a feeling that this game is going to be very disappointing? I just have that feeling. Whatever the over-under is for this game, take the under. Because both these offenses, they have been pretty disappointing so far this season. Kirk Cousins has made Justin Jefferson look like a mid-wide receiver. And there was high expectations for Justin Jefferson, that how he was going to establish himself as the best receiver in the league. And Kirk Cousins is holding him back. And if Justin Jefferson had, I'd say, if he had an Aaron Rodgers, or even Mahomes, or Brady, or I'll even say Russell Wilson, honestly, he would probably be the best receiver in the league. A Matthew Stafford, a Josh Allen, a Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. But he has an underrated but most times mid quarterback in Kirk Cousins. While the Saints, on the other hand, can Alvin Kamara just get going? I don't know what it is with Kamara, but I think the Saints win this game. The Saints defense at least has shown some promise. The Saints defense has kept them in their games all season long. So I will go with New Orleans, but don't be mad when this game sucks, because it will. The Browns and the Falcons. I like the way the Falcons have been playing this season. I never thought I would say that at this point in the year. They should honestly be 3-0 right now. And that is saying something considering they went down 28-3 against the Rams. But they clawed their way back into the game. They outscored the Rams, I believe it was 25-3 or 25-3 after that. And they could have, if one play went differently in that fourth quarter, they probably win that game. And now they take on a Browns team that lives and dies off the running game, the Wisconsin Badgers of the NFL. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm going to pick the Falcons to win this game. They haven't won 2 games in a row since 2020. But I just think there's a more positive turn to the Falcons right now. And now I expect the Browns to blow them out since I'm giving the Falcons even a sliver of hope. Commanders and Cowboys. Cooper Rush 3-0 as an NFL starting quarterback. Well, the Cowboys take on a Commanders team that gave up 9 sacks to Carson Wentz last week. And that is something you really want to hear for the Cowboys defense, as the Cowboys defense has been the biggest reason why the Cowboys are where they're at right now, sitting at 2-1. You do got to give credit to Cooper Rush for being the proper game manager while Dak Prescott is out. And the more games the Cowboys win before Dak comes back, which, if I had to guess, I think Dak is going to come back probably week 6 or 7. So if Cooper Rush can hold his own, the Cowboys still have a very good shot to win the NFC East. And I'm taking the Cowboys to win this one. A very low-scoring game, I think. Neighborhood of 16-13. Seahawks and the Lions. The Lions let another game slip away from them against the Vikings last week. But the good news is they take on a Seahawks team that in week 1 we thought, okay, maybe they could be a surprise team. But these last 2 weeks, just L's. The defense is holding them back. And the Lions, they have the 3rd best scoring offense in the league. I never thought I'd be saying that. And Dan Campbell has the Lions going in the right direction. I am taking Detroit. Titans and the Colts. The Colts are coming off an upset win against the Chiefs last week, while the Titans are coming off a win against the Raiders. A AFC South showdown. And I am going to ultimately go with the Titans in this matchup. I just think that the Colts are coming off of an emotional victory. And Derrick Henry, I think, is back. He had a bad first 2 weeks, but this past week he had a good performance. I think that continues. Bears and the Giants. Now, I had a hard time predicting this game. And usually, when I would have to predict this game, I would think it's based off both teams are bad. But these 2 teams, they're flying under the radar so far this season. And whoever wins this game is going to start the year 3-1, which is totally unexpected. But it is expected that David Montgomery is going to be out in this game, and they are going to turn to Khalil Herbert as the RB1. While Saquon Barkley, he is back. This has the potential of a comeback year for Saquon Barkley. He got the momentum last week against the Cowboys, and I think it continues here. I think Saquon has a big game this week, but I think they fall short as Daniel Jones will find a way to screw this up. I'm taking Chicago. Jaguars and the Eagles. Now, this has the potential of being the best game of the week on the down low. The Eagles remain one of the 2 undefeated teams left in the NFL, them and the Dolphins. But the Jaguars, they're coming off of a big win against the Chargers. Not only a win, but in dominant fashion. And Doug Peterson, it's looking like the Jaguars are on a good track heading into a deeper portion of the year. But I do think they get a dose of reality a little bit. I think the Eagles take control in this game. Later on in the game, I think the Jaguars are going to be in this in the early portion of the game, but in the second half, the Eagles will pull away. I'm taking Philly. Next are the Jets and the Steelers. And I'm going to go with the Steelers. Zach Wilson, it's possible he's going to be back as the quarterback this week, as he suffered an injury in the preseason. This could be the week that Najee Harris finally gets going. He has struggled the first 3 weeks of the year, as I had high expectations for Najee. But maybe this could be the week he gets going. And I really do think that this is going to be the opportunity for him, as I think it's going to be a lot of running in this game, because both quarterbacks, I mean, Zach Wilson has potential, and so does Trubisky, I guess, but I'd be shocked if both quarterbacks went over 250 yards in this game. But I will take the Steelers, behind hopefully a big performance from big boy Najee. Next up, we got the Bills and the Ravens, and what probably is going to be the best game of the week. We've got the two best scoring offenses going at it. And this is going to be a show. Although I do wish we could see this on the nationally televised game of the week. It's unfortunate that it's at noon and about maybe 80% of the country won't be able to see it. Maybe 70%. But the difference in this game is the Ravens defense, well, both defenses are going through injuries right now. So it can be the first 1 to 45 wins, but I'm going to go with the Bills. The Bills had that bad game against the Dolphins, and I think they bounce back. I can only imagine if you have Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson in a super flex league. I can only imagine how happy that person is, because you know there's at least 5 of them out there. Next up, we got the Chargers and the Texans. And the Texans upset the Chargers last season, but this is a brand new Texans team, and this is a new Chargers team as well. The Chargers may have gotten dismantled last week by the Jaguars, and Rashawn Slater is out for the season. But I still think the Chargers are going to win this game, but it won't be by that much. The Texans are going to hold their own in this game like they have been throughout the entire season, but the Chargers win at the very end. And the Texans get a heartbreaking loss once again this week. Cardinals and the Panthers. The Panthers picked up win number 1 last week against the Saints. And I am going to go with the Cardinals in this game, however. It just seems like that Kyler Murray, he has his moments that are good and bad. But this is a game between, I think, 2 head coaches that are going to probably be fired, and the loser of this game is going to be the first one fired. The other one will be fired at the end of the year, I think. Especially Kingsbury if he doesn't make the playoffs. In fact, if the Cardinals didn't make the playoffs last season, I think Cliff Kingsbury would have been gone. But I like Arizona in this one. Hollywood Brown has put up phenomenal numbers. And when DeAndre Hopkins comes back, I think the Cardinals are going to be a team to watch out for. If Cliff Kingsbury, if he can show that he is a competent coach and a competent play caller, the Cardinals can be a team to watch out for. Next up, we have the Patriots and the Packers, and it is expected that Mac Jones is going to miss at least 4 weeks, maybe even 6. So they turn to Brian Hoyer. And then Bailey Zappi gets moved up to the backup. But it doesn't matter. Aaron Rodgers and Lambeau. Packers win. No doubt about it. Broncos and the Raiders. The Raiders are the only winless team in the NFL. While the Broncos, that defense once again carrying them. It's almost like it's 2015 all over again, where the Broncos defense is carrying the Broncos. we're seeing the Bucks defense also carrying the Bucks pretty much 2015 all over again at this point, but I am going to go with the Broncos in this game. The defense will carry them once again. Can this finally be the game that Russell Wilson gets going? Because we're waiting to see it. Kansas City and Tampa Bay, Chiefs and Bucks, Sunday Night Football, Mahomes versus Brady. Probably the last time we're going to see these two teams face off. Well, not really teams, but quarterbacks face off. But I doubt it will. This will probably be the Super Bowl matchup. And both quarterbacks, they had inferior performances last week. Tom Brady has had 3 inferior performances in a row, and he has been carried by the Bucs defense, as I mentioned a moment ago. But I think that the narrative is once again starting all over again. Does Tom Brady still have it? Should Tom Brady have retired years ago? Should he have retired when he won the 7th Super Bowl? And once you count him out, he starts to perform. And I think it may not be this week. He may not put up the numbers, but I think the Bucs will do just enough to win this game. And finally, Monday Night Football, the Rams and the 49ers. The 49ers, they have had the Rams number pretty recently. I know the Rams beat them in the NFC Championship game last season, but the 49ers had a dropped pass that would have resulted in interception, and that was ultimately a big difference in that NFC title game. The 49ers, for some reason, when we start to count out San Francisco, once they play the Rams, they look like a completely different team. And I think it's going to be no different. I think the 49ers win this matchup, and that will do it for my Week 4 predictions. For review, my picks for the week are the Dolphins, Saints, Falcons, Cowboys, Lions, Titans, Bears, Eagles, Steelers, Bills, Chargers, although I may regret that one because the Chargers are dealing with injuries right now, significant injuries. Cardinals, Packers, Broncos, Buccaneers, and 49ers. Comment your picks down below, like, share, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, have a wonderful day and enjoy the NFL this weekend.